Got it. Let's go.
I know, right?
I feel like I'm back home now. Yeah. We can clap.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in my spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. One more time. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God.
Woo! Let's go.
I have heard I released so many times, but never with this beat and this flair. I am with it. Like Miguel, you are matching the Spirit Uncuffed vibe. Thank you
That was dope, man. That was
for
really
joining
dope.
us today.
Yeah.
So, my name is Reverend Casey Taylor. I use they, them pronouns, and we've got this little session flow to give you a sense of what to expect over the course of the next hour. We started with a sound bath from Mark Anna. Then, as we just heard, we sang I Release together with Miguel Houston. Next, we are going to speak our vision and mission together. And, yeah, I got some reverb. You want to help me out with that?
Yeah.
Speak our vision and mission together. And put up a slide of the, thank you so much, you got that.
Perfect.
Put up a slide of the 39 tribes where we'll be invited to meditate on that. Reverend Lindo will be be the facilitator for Uncuffed Contemplation. Then Miguel's gonna lead us in the meditative song There's Only Love, originally written by Michael Gott. Then I'm gonna speak on our theme. Then we're gonna let Spirit pour itself in us with a Ricky Byers song that Miguel will lead us in. Do a little conscious giving, announcements, and then we'll close out with a peace song, which I love that Miguel brought back into the mix. We haven't sang the peace song here, I think, pretty much the entire time that I've been serving as senior minister. So I'm incredibly grateful that you're like, Now it's
Beautiful.
time. The peace song is one of those songs that, like, sometimes communities just get tired of. They sing it every single time. And I love how at United Life we just weave it in. We'll do it for like a little bit and we'll bring it back so that we get to honor the fact that peace expresses itself as us, but that we don't ever get sick of it. That's how I take it.
Yeah.
And it works for me. All right, so this is that vision and mission that I mentioned. And if any part of the vision and mission does not resonate with you, feel free not to speak it and talk to us. Tell us how you feel about the vision and mission if it is not aligning. But if it does, I invite you to affirm it with me. We are a loving, inclusive community, joyfully expressing spirit. We honor, celebrate, and support each individual's awakening to their spiritual sovereignty. We empower each other to create happy, healthy, abundant lives.
So it is.
And so it is. And so is this slide of the 39 tribes represented in Oklahoma. And Rev Lynn will come up whenever she's ready.
We'll see if I can do the microphone and the book and all of this. A friend recommended this book to me. I bought it recently. It's Raymond Charles Barker, The Power of Decision. Now, Raymond Charles Barker is one of those old school, dyed-in-the-wool, out of the gate with Ernest himself and collaborated with him a bunch. And I'm not going to recommend necessarily that you buy this book because some of it's pretty darn fierce. Like, get with the program. Why are you driving the BMW in your dreams? Come on, guys.
Come on, go get that BMW.
But yeah, it's real, and the reading that I found is a metaphor that is something I've never heard it talked about this way, and I like it a lot. Let me open the book first.
Sure.
So as with any metaphors in the science of mind, when we talk about spirit and life with a capital L, it's a oneness. It doesn't have sections and divisions and separations in it. Then again, as humans, when we try and analyze how it works and what's happening in our lives because of it, language means we start dividing it and sectioning it and so on. And we kind of have to, because that's how our language works, that's how our heads wrap around the processes involved. So what Raymond Charles Barker is talking about here is that infinite possibility, that infinite creativity that is spirit being itself. And then the way that flows in our lives and the way we make use of it in our individuated minds looks like this metaphor. See if it works for you.
And the glasses. And the microphone. And the book.
Can you juggle too?
No, I cannot. I also cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. Never have. This is called the mental hourglass. He says, the symbol of the hourglass comes to my mind. The upper section symbolizes the infinitude of consciousness with all its ideas. The lower section symbolizes the world or cosmos of form and shape, namely material existence. Your consciousness is that filter-through point where the ideas above flow down to the world below. You are a receiver of ideas for the purpose of loosing them into form. If the filter is congested, the ideas do not flow through. They await your decongestion. All prayer and spiritual treatment is for the purpose of mental clarification, which diminishes congestion and allows heaven to appear on your earth.
Come on.
Spiritual mental work is not to rethink that which has been thought, but to realize that because what has been thought was congestive in nature, it has no place in reality, no place in that capital C consciousness, which is God. Therefore, it does not really exist at all. Only that which is spiritual exists. And lo, the flow through is cleared, and earth becomes heaven again. So I love this idea that our treatment work, our prayer work, is not about asking Spirit to deliver something. Our treatment work is just about clearing our own minds of anything that we've told ourselves that might be in the way of what's already waiting to pour through us.
Yeah.
And let's take that into prayer. So I know there's only one life, one infinite good, one infinite intelligence, one infinite love. And it loves to be itself in us and for us and through us and as us. It loves to pour everything it is into and through our experience of ourselves. And every person on the planet, every person in this room, myself, and each of us is that one life, beautifully and perfectly individuated as the beloved expressions of itself that we are. And trusting this and leaning into it and knowing this is the truth of my life. I speak this word. I speak it in first person for myself. If these words sound good and real to you, take them up for yourselves as yourselves. I know and claim that everything I need to know has already been planted into my mind from that infinite mind, because my mind is one with it. I know that everything I need for success in what I choose for myself and what I choose to step forward into being and doing and living and expressing and experiencing, everything necessary is already given. Every possibility, every idea, every creative moment, all of it's already right here, right now. And I'm so grateful to know that anything that's been in the way of the full expression of that is clearing right now. Because I'm inviting that clarity, that openness, that willingness to let God be God in me, for me, through me, as me, right here, right now. And so the channel is clear. The gifts have been fully given, and they are expressing into my life and into how I show up in the world right now, because Spirit has already said yes. And in such gratitude for this, in full gratitude for the truth of who I am and the truth of what life is because I choose it, because I share from this place of beingness, because I love myself enough to stand in this. I'm grateful. And in that gratitude, I just let it go and I let it be. And together we say,
And so it is. That was beautiful. That was so good.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. One more time. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, thank you, Miguel.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll do a drum beat before that. Thanks for getting that reverb on there. Appreciate that. All right, so my name is Reverend Casey Taylor. As I said earlier, I use they, them pronouns, and our theme today is carrying our doubt together. And as I was thinking about this concept of carrying our doubt, I identify doubt as fear of what happens next, right? It's looking ahead. And I especially love how Reverend Lynn spoke to how prayer is just spiritual decongestant. I read that Power of Decision book, that I think that is kind of what propelled me into practitioner class. It was one of the last classes that was required to become a practitioner, and at that point I had been struggling so much in getting my foot in the door in the entertainment industry. Power of Decision did not at all help. Raymond Charles Barker talking all this mess about why haven't you attracted this yet was not helpful. But practitioner class was, and it was really kind of what I needed to stand in the power of my decision and have faith in that. So what doubt really is a fear, a concern about what happens next. And I find for myself that I have very specific ideas around how things should go, how the world should be, what people should believe. I've got very specific ideas of that. And it has been one of my most challenging lessons to recognize that everybody has their own divine path. What I think your divine path is and what your divine path actually is are not in alignment, and I am not the one to tell somebody what their own divine path is. That is on them and their own divine expression of God. That has nothing to do with me. And so what I love about the Science of Mind, the Centers for Spiritual Living, is that we are reminded that we can only be responsible for ourselves. So what does it mean to carry doubt together? The way that I look at that is that as we can only be responsible for ourselves, we get to be responsible for our relationship to doubt. That's what we get to do. I don't get to have a say in opinion. Well, I can, but it doesn't serve and support me or anyone else to do so about how anyone else manages their experience of doubt. But for me to use this tool of spiritual decongestion, of spiritual mind treatment to identify and release doubt, release fear as it manifests for me, and for us to show up in spiritual community, what it means for each other to empower each other to live happy, healthy, abundant lives, means that we are living by example of recognizing the ways in which we are individually carrying doubt and what tools we use as a spiritual decongestant to release whatever is in the way. So I mentioned that we hadn't done the peace song since I've served as senior minister, that my own journey of what does it mean for me to be in this position and how can I best support the community. The feedback that I got so very consistently within the first year-ish, first year, was how the community wanted to hear more Science of Mind. People who are coming in for the first time wanted to learn more about spiritual principles. And at our leadership retreat that we held at the top in April, one of the things that we discussed at that retreat was being more intentional about clarifying a spiritual principle. And I said, I'm going to take that into prayer. I'm going to sit with that. I don't have an answer today, but I'm going to figure out what that is. And in preparation for this week, I set my own personal deadline of this being the week that I incorporate and lead with the spiritual principle, because the leadership retreat was the first weekend of April, and then I went on this massive trip after that. So I wasn't going to put any pressure on myself to figure it out. No divine doubt going on there. Let me just trust and know that when it comes time, so I made a note to myself that this is the Sunday that I look at that. And so as I was thinking about the marriage between Science of Mind and also the Centers for Spiritual Living Global Themes that this community has consistently honored. And as a former members, Revlin and I are both former members of the Global Themes, I think there's a lot of value in us being connected to the themes that are being practiced and honored in centers across the world, while at the same time wanting to honor our community's desire to really lean more into science of mind. Yeah. Reverend Dr. Donnell texted me this morning and asked if I was teaching today. And it's funny because when I was in ministerial school, we were taught, don't ever teach. Your job is not to teach on a Sunday. But the reality is what this community wants and what I was taught in ministerial school are always going to be in alignment. My minister teacher's idea, what worked for that community, what worked in that place, isn't what Oklahoma City wants. So I'm grateful to be somebody who can listen, and I really took it as a call to action to read the Science of Mind cover to cover and just let spirit flow, what that looks like. So I made this little chart of where I am and noticing how the global themes and the chapters of where I just happen to be in the Science of Mind textbook have been fully in alignment.
Wow.
These haven't been like super clean because I didn't walk in and say, for February, I'm going to do chapter 2. This is just kind of, if we look at the global themes and look at the subject heading for the Science of Mind, I noticed that they're in alignment. So where we are now in May, chapter 5 of the Science of Mind in part 1. Part 1 is called The Nature of Being. Divine doubt is where we are right now, and divine doubt lives in the body.
Yeah, it does.
And so one of the things that's so cool about spirit is like it's going to be what it is. And so I'm consciously choosing to be more intentional about the marriage between the global theme of the month and where I am in the chapter. And I didn't consciously choose to dive into one chapter a month in the Science of Mind. It was just an organic unfoldment that feels really good. So from here on out, for me, whenever I'm here, I'm going to be speaking about the chapter where I am that aligns with the global theme. And that's what we're going to do. So, as I said, we're on body. And that's going to be the spiritual principle that we're talking about today, is body. So, Ernest Holmes said in chapter 5, chapter 5, he describes body as the entire manifestation of spirit. Both visible and invisible is the body of God. There is one body of the universe. This is him in all caps. This is how he likes to write, is all caps. Like, FYI, this is really important. And so, this concept of body, what the body even is, we're starting with the definition of the spiritual principle. What body is there is one body. This is what we teach in the Science of Mind. And what I love, again, about the Centers for Spiritual Living is, y'all ask me for Science of Mind, so I'll give that to you. But if some of you do not agree with what Ernest Holmes says, you do you. This is not a place of you have to agree with everything that is ever written in the Science of Mind, and if you don't, this is not the place for you. That is not how we operate. My own personal resistance to teach the Science of Mind is how much of it I disagreed with. And so I just want to be super clear that if you're like, there isn't one body, you do you. This is the foundation of what Science of Mind teaches, is that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. That's essentially the concept of oneness. And so body itself is described as the manifestation, the whole manifestation of spirit that is both visible and invisible. And what the visible and invisible is God itself. So the way that we see this is that literally everything is holy. Yeah. And I love that way of being. Inclusivity is something that feels good and right for me and my soul. And one of the reasons that we were clear, again, the leadership team made this decision on shifting our vision and mission statement to see we honor and support each individual's spiritual sovereignty is there's this recognition of what spiritual sovereignty, what feels right for you, may not be for someone else. Yeah. And I happen to be someone who believes that all of life is holy. That I don't believe that you you have to have this belief system, and if you're wrong about your belief system, Rev Lynn actually spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, I believe, about this concept of calling each other right or wrong.
Yeah.
I don't see a need or a purpose or a value for it. It seems to just be cultural traditions and habits.
Yeah.
And I do see the value of seeing all of life as holy and seeing every person as holy and every experience as holy, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be.
Come on.
So Ernest Holmes says body is always an effect, never a cause. Another spiritual principle that we teach here is the law of cause and effect. And I especially love that this is just logic. We're not asking you to believe in a myth, a story, something that defies science. Every effect gotta have a cause. No, we're not saying this specific cause leads to this specific effect, but we do say things like if you plant carrots in the carrot seeds in the soil, you're gonna get carrots. It's not gonna be like surprise. It's actually zucchini. Like the way every effect in our life, every body is the impact of cause itself. We teach the law of cause and effect. So body is the manifestation of a cause of some kind. We would not say that consciousness is in the body, but rather the body is in consciousness.
Wow.
So it's that same thing where body is a manifestation. It is the effect of cause of consciousness itself. Consciousness does not live, well, it does kind of live in the body. But it isn't really, because it's this idea that energy, what we know about science is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. So consciousness has to go somewhere. When our body is done doing the things that it's doing, when it can no longer operate, consciousness goes somewhere, wherever that is. So I would say probably rents the body for some period of time before it moves on to its next expression, plane of action and being. Ernest Holmes also said, pain and fear are in consciousness, but consciousness so completely envelops the body that it appears to be intelligent.
Come on.
So, yes, I appreciate you saying that, Donna. Come on. Because this concept of pain and fear are the loudest. It's the reason why I think we have a tendency to identify so closely and align with our beliefs that we think of each other as wrong, because that's pain and that's fear just projecting itself. That's why I see it not having value, because it's unhealed pain and it's unhealed fear. And so it has a powerful impact, but we get to use spiritual decongestion to recognize that it doesn't need to have any power over us. So, Reverend Dr. Donnell asked me, as I've gone on all my travels over the course of the last 6 weeks, he asked if I'm staying, if I'm sticking around, because people have a tendency to go off on a world tour and be like, I'm moving there. And I especially love, let me break down this trip and how it went. I started with, there was a couple of things. First, there was a go back. End of March, I visited my mom for her birthday, and I have made a commitment that I want to see my mom on her birthday. One, because it's in April, and it's easy to get to Chicago in April. I don't have to deal with holidays, traffic, and things like that, and then it's a way for me to honor my mother every year on her birthday. Then, at the top of April, there was a Centers for Spiritual Living conference in Reno, and the week after, there was a spiritual retreat that I was invited to participate in, where Ricky Byers, who wrote some of the songs that we're singing today, was the singer, and I really wanted to go to that. So I bought a one-way ticket to Seattle with the intention of just hanging out in Seattle for a little bit in the Pacific Northwest. And my intuition said to me loud and clear, you need to go to Asia. And so, because I hadn't had a return flight from Seattle, I looked at what flight prices from Seattle to the Philippines look like, and I can get a direct 14-hour flight from Seattle. But if I had come from Oklahoma City, it would have taken me 25 hours and multiple layovers. And I was like, well, while I'm here, I've never done a 14-hour trip. I would much rather do one 14-hour trip than multiple things with a 25-hour layover. That's my preference. And so booked this flight to Manila, and while I'm in the Philippines, I've got a friend from Oklahoma who just moved to Japan, and a couple of friends that just moved to Taiwan. Both sets of friends are from Oklahoma City, and they have this it's interesting too for me to have experienced Taiwan and Japan through their eyes, because all of them are black women from Oklahoma City, born and raised in Oklahoma City, now living in Asia, in a country where they don't know the language and are figuring out as they go along. They're all Duolingoing it and figuring it out as they go along.
Dope.
So to visit people who are new-ish to the country, but also really grateful for an American, Oklahoma specifically, kind of friend to be in Asia with them, is how it worked out. And the only reason I chose to come back into the States through Los Angeles is because the cheapest flight from Okinawa to the States, Los Angeles was the best way in. And because I lived in Los Angeles for some period of time and mentioned that I'd struggled when I was reading The Power of Decision, was struggling to break into the entertainment industry, being in Los Angeles gave me an opportunity to just go around and say hello. I didn't make any plans to do that because I was prepared for the fact that I would have jet lag. Everybody told me jet lag would be a thing. I managed to circumvent it both ways. And I'll tell y'all the trick was leaving at night. I left Seattle at 11:45 p.m. and landed in the Philippines at 4 a.m. And that was a 14-hour flight, but a difference of like 2.5 days. I don't know. My body was like, I don't care. It's Thursday. And so it was fine. I adjusted. And same thing, I expected in Los Angeles that people were like, oh, the way back, that's the hard part. And I went back to the future when I came back to the United States.
It's crazy.
I left Japan on May 4th, again at night, left at like 7 p.m. on May 4th, and then I landed in Los Angeles at 1:30 p.m. on May 4th. So
it's so crazy.
I absolutely watched Star Wars on the plane, and just really see how my body was feeling. And got back, and it was 1:30. I went straight to the ocean, lived my best life at the ocean, enjoyed all my favorite spots, and I was feeling good. So I saw a bunch of people. And so throughout this trip, what I had to do was stay present, because I didn't know this version of myself. I don't know who I am when I'm on a plane for 14 hours. I don't know who I am when I'm experiencing May the 4th be with you twice, 2 days in a row. I don't know this. So and also don't know the language in any of these countries. Because the trip unfolded in the way that it did, I also didn't have a lot of time to plan for it. I didn't watch a bunch of videos or, I really just let my intuition guide me to who to talk to. Chris's son had taken a trip to Asia, and his wife Nina said, hey, talk to my son, and it worked out that we got an opportunity to connect. He lives in Seattle, and I was supposed to see him while I was in Seattle, but Spirit said no, apparently, because it didn't happen. But the entire time, there were so many pieces and so many details that I didn't know how I was going to work them out, and Spirit just kind of teed them up. Like the What's Up and Why, the show that I host with my cousin, showed up for the show, and my producer said to me, I mentioned I was going to be gone for a while, and she said, where? And I named all the places. And Washington, Seattle, one of those places, she was like, do you need a ride and a place to stay while you're in Seattle? Yes, I do need a ride and a place to stay while I'm in Seattle. So things fell into place where I didn't have to figure out details. I knew that my intuition would tell me what needs to be known at the time. Wow. And that came from a consistent habit of utilizing prayer as spiritual decongestant.
Come on,
so
man. Good.
This prayer, or this trip from April 17th through May 7th, I was really just letting Spirit lead the entire way. And in general, everything unfolded easily and effortlessly except for when it didn't. There were 2 occasions where that didn't happen, and both of the not ease and the unease and effort was difficult. Both of them involved planes. The second one especially involved getting back into the United States.
Okay.
And that one was a big, scary one where what prevented me from getting out. I was going to have to fly standby and trust and know that there was a seat that was going to get me here, and then I'd be able to get on the plane to get to the States. But if a seat did not open up on standby on the very next flight, there were a variety of consequences that could have come along with it, most of which being incredibly seriously financial consequences.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, there were 2 moments, and the first moment was a little less scary than that, where it wasn't, how do I get home? It was very much like, it was a minor inconvenience. But the first time that it came about was when I landed in Manila. It was a misconnection due to flight delays, and the entire airport conspired to get me to my flight on time. So I first of all, no country I've ever been in has the entire airport to conspire in this way. Like, taxi drivers, the guy out front who does the flagging of the taxi drivers, like, they're on there like walkie-talkies, like, the taxi driver took a back way and had to get someone to give him permission to go through the back way of the airport. So all of these people conspired to get me on my flight on time, and I still missed it. So I was like, Spirit, what is that all about?
Yeah.
Like, why did we go through all this? And I had these, like, during the moments of, like, am I going to miss my flight? With that anxiety, I was like, I've got to trust and know that everything is unfolding perfectly. My job is to remember that all the time. This is my one job. So that's what I was sort of battling the divine doubt in my body, while at the same time reminding myself and applying my spiritual decongestant. So went through all of this, whole airport conspiring to support me, still missed the flight, but whatever, I get on the next one. Like, it's fine. And I really had to focus on remembering, one, that it was the best day ever. That was a big one, because I was like, the whole time I've been staying present, how many times have I thought about how today is the best day ever?
Yeah.
And so it was like, all right, like, this is what you got to do. You got an opportunity to practice divine doubt. And that's the theme of the month. Whether you are in Oklahoma City or not, that is the theme. So this is what got to happen, and then I got to arrive in Taiwan eventually. That second flight, where I had this true divine doubt of, am I going to make it to the United States, and is there going to be some serious financial consequences that came along with it, I really had to ground myself in prayer. And so at one point, I was walking through the airport, consciously praying, and I was like, I am powerful beyond measure. That line from Marianne Williamson's quote, power, what is it, something, return to love, return to love. Yeah. So our biggest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. So I was like, I am powerful beyond measure. I need one seat on the very next flight. I get to just know that. I get to just claim this. My job is to remember that everything is unfolding perfectly. So either I'm getting on this next flight, or whatever it is that's keeping me here, it's got to be the experience that I need to have.
Yeah.
And literally, like, completed the flight, put my bag down. I didn't even sit my booty down in the chair yet before the airport staff comes running over to me and was like, you've got a seat on the next flight. So I got there, and it was just this recognition,
awesome.
this lesson learned of, I'd forgotten that I was powerful beyond measure. So I needed to remind myself when I forgot. So when I was in the bathroom just now, before service started, our gathering began at 12:55, I saw this quote in the bathroom wall that said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought.
Facts.
And this is Buddha's way. This is why Ernest Holmes why the concept of the science of mind is a culmination of everything. Yes, of spiritual traditions of all kinds. And so this is what we're teaching, that the body, the effect, is simply the result of what we have thought, as Buddha said. So Reverend Lydia Joy Laser Ayers, she just got married. They just got married, so the Lazar is new. They literally just got married like a week ago. And I haven't met their boo, but I was in a diversity class with Reverend Lydia Joy, and they're really good friends with the person who's like over the global theme, so I'm not all surprised that they're on this team. So they invite us to explore and reflect in the global themes. And so I'm going to invite you to take a moment to reflect on these questions. Where do your doubts come from? What doubts or fears are yours versus doubts that seem to come from your community? Do you share your community's doubts? Do you challenge them? Because there's no children in the room, I will note that the concept of my 90-day program, Making Peace with Your Inner Shit Talker, is about your shit talker is essentially doubt itself. And so the purpose, the intention of the program is to read these variety of reflection questions to identify which doubts and fears are yours and which ones are your communities. So hit me up if you want a copy of that to dive a little deeper into this. And they also shared this idea of what is mine to do for the week. That is, when you hear something you immediately disagree with, ask yourself why. Try not to give quick answers, but follow the emotion and feeling to arrive at the heart of the matter. When you notice an irritation or other points of uncomfortable mental focus, be with it. Try meditating on that focus for 1 minute.
Come on.
So this is your invitation to apply this practice, apply what we're talking about here over the course of this week. And Miguel, I love that you are here and ready to go. I'm going to invite you to join me in prayer, grounding these spiritual principles, grounding whatever inspiration that needs to be known within our consciousness. So I invite you all to just take a moment to settle, bringing your attention and awareness to the breath. And remembering that your breath itself is holy, that your entire body is holy, and it is the effect of some kind of cause. Maybe your consciousness at some point before you were born deciding this is who you want to be, this is the identity you want to have at this moment in time on earth, during this moment in history, or whether it is spirit itself just simply choosing to manifest itself as you. You have been divinely appointed to be who you are, to show up to the United Life community, whether in person or online, today in this moment. This whole thing is a divine appointment. And I am grateful to trust and know that any doubts that arise within us over the course of this week, this month, and beyond, simply serve as an invitation to look at the source of the doubt itself, to shift that doubt and choose spiritual decongestant as prayer or something else, knowing and trusting that our intuition, that power that directs our breath, whether we are conscious of it or not, is available to communicate whatever needs to be known around doubts that arise, around disagreements that arise. That we are being invited to follow the emotion and feeling coming from our hearts. That we are invited to be present with any irritation or uncomfortable focus. And I'm grateful that in this moment in history, that each one of us chose to carry doubt together in this way, to participate in spiritual community, to empower each other to live happy, healthy, abundant lives. And I'm incredibly grateful for the joy, the abundance, and the health that manifests itself as a result of each one of us having said yes to it. And in gratitude, I choose to release this word, letting Spirit do what it does with it, and invite us to affirm this prayer together by saying, and so it is.
All right.
All right, let's let Spirit intuition pour itself in us.
It's good. Put the reverb back on. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good. Really good.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, dance and smile in me, dance and smile into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, dance and smile in me, dance and smile into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit,
Thank you. Yes. All right, so now it's time for a little conscious giving. I noticed while I was out, there was a lot of debate on how to pronounce the Howdy No Shoney.
Yeah, we got it.
How
How
show
do you know? Show me.
So you go into Google and ask, you're like, say this phonetically, tell me how to do this. How do you know Shoni? That's
How do you know? Show me.
How do you know? Show me. Yep.
Yeah, Reverend got it. How do you know? Show me.
She sure did. She had it. She was like, no.
Yes, she did.
She sent it to me. This is how it is.
Yes, she did.
So, yeah, I saw it. She had it right. That's the situation. I said it wrong so many times, y'all. We're really holding on to my wrong pronunciation, and I apologize for that. And I'm grateful. I did not set Reverend Lynn up for failure, although she can have a debate, y'all.
It was a great debate.
She held her own, so that's what it is. So I'm going to invite you to, we're in the second piece. Last week we restarted it with the people. Actually, I think it was the second one. This might be the third one. This is the third piece of it. And I love that the How Do You Know Shoni people changed the gender of the things, like sky, moon, whatever. So Mother Earth, and that makes sense because things are birthed from Earth. This one makes sense. Yeah. So I invite you to affirm this piece of the How Do You Know Shoni Thanksgiving address with me. We are all thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send our greetings and our thanks. Now our minds are at one. All right, and as Reverend, maybe I'm being presumptuous. Maybe one day Mary Lee will be Reverend, but as our practitioner, Mary Lee goes around with the plate. I invite you to share your financial blessings, your energetic blessings, however your intuition calls for. And if you are not one who keeps financial, energetic blessings in the form of cash in your pockets or on your person, there are ways to give online. If you are online, if you go to unitedlife.org and click donate from our website, you can make a donation that way. This QR code takes you directly to our donation page, and if you give me a text, that's my favorite way because it's so easy. You just text the number, how much you want to give, and give it, and so it is. And I'll tell y'all real quick, as we were talking about Divine Doubt, last Sunday, the amount of my tithe, I get paid roughly about $3,000 a month here. And so my tithe is usually $300 a month. I only had $300 last Sunday. And I was like, do I really want a tithe to go down to zero? What I'm going to do is I'm going to tithe 100 and I'm going to just stay present. Spirit came through and I got to tithe the rest of it later in the week. With easily and effortless. But I'm grateful that instead of, I had some divine doubt. And I was like, let me just not go to zero in this moment. But Spirit had me anyway. So gave my full tithe. And text to give is how I did it. Because it's the easiest way, in my opinion. All right. So what we got coming up. Our Leadership Council meeting. We usually have it on the second Sunday. But this second Sunday was Mother's Day. So we didn't do that. And so it's going to be the next Sunday, the May 24th, right here, right after Spirit Uncuffed at 2:30. Reverend Dr. Donnell Cole is going to be doing his book signing. You want to come up and talk about that for a little bit?
I can. Y'all want me to?
If you'd like to.
All right. Let's talk about.
Hey, you guys. I published this novel. I co-authored a book called Love School. It's about a set of characters who are these crazy professors who get this attraction from these 8 figures who, like us, have trauma and baggage and shadow aspects of themselves, but they get attracted to this esoteric school for the purpose of learning about love. I got approached about 3 years ago to just talk about love, and I started thinking, love that I've learned now from relationships is not the Hollywood fragmentation, of love and all of that stuff. Is actually a journey of your soul's exploration, which is always beautiful, And so from what I learned from the science of mind, I wanted to create a novel that kind of tells the story of us and our lives and how we come together and we grow together and we build together. So it's a beautiful work of art. I have a link where you guys can sign up. I think we have limited seating. I'll put 50. So I do have a link for everybody to sign up. But it's going to be a beautiful time to talk, connect, share some of the characters and their journeys, and also share your personal stories and experience Love School together, because I believe that's what we're doing here.
Thank you. I read about 3/4 of it on plane ride, and I'm a fan.
Okay.
We get a shout out. There's a Spirit Uncuffed shout out in it at some point. I was
Yeah.
Says my name,
Yeah.
my name. And it's cool. What I really like about it is that it takes place in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And really uses a lot of Oklahoma City landmarks that
Yeah.
I don't ever really get to read content
Yeah.
that's contemporary about the city that we're living in right now.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
say
love
something
about
real quick.
writing books, because I like, when I write my books, I put my people in it. Because they're like archetypes of my own personal experience. And we don't always get that. But every book that I've done, even my children's book, one is a grasshopper who has a coach, and he's one of my trainers. So I love to embody that. So like the next Love School, okay.
Look out
See you
for
there. See you there.
I absolutely see it as a movie too. So I
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about
So
that.
I'm working with you on that.
We gonna talk about
Yeah.
it. We gonna talk about it. So
don't know if you know.
I mentioned I sort of touched upon it, but I didn't get into it. That Reverend Dr. Donnell Cole asked me about whether I was coming back. Now that I've traveled all over the world, am I coming back? And this world travel has reinforced how much I love Oklahoma City. As I was saying, reading Love School, like I was eager and excited to get back. And that's such a good feeling, to want to go home instead of be like, maybe I don't want to come back. I love that I absolutely was excited to come back. And this drag show is one of the reasons why, that there are not a lot of spiritual centers that host an annual drag show.
No.
And I think it's really cool that this year's drag show is going to be held on Juneteenth, so it will be in honor of Juneteenth. And we are collaborating with Black Queer Oklahoma on this. I'm currently a board member of that organization, and they expanded. They started out as Black Queer Tulsa and have expanded to Oklahoma, so have brought on some Oklahoma City people to serve on the board. And this will be pretty, like, one of they've had some balls here, but we've never collaborated with them. They've never collaborated with another organization in OKC. And the fact that it's happening at the downtown farmers market, and the fact that that was affordable, was really, really great. Love that. So me and James are going to talk about it more at lunch today, but highly recommend that you mark your calendars, and I'd like to have a ticket link for that up by next Sunday. So look out for details.
Yes, awesome.
I think that might be our last announcements for today. Yes, it is. So we're gonna sing the peace song together.
Thank you. Woo.
If you know this, please help me sing this. I picked the song and then I realized how difficult it is.
Well, really do it old school and circle up and hold hands.
You want to? Let's do it.
Are we getting in front of the camera?
We're getting in front of the camera.
Yeah, you do. Here, I'll do this.
That way you can stay. I love it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous myself to take each moment